so much to Raycon for sponsoring today's video.
Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. My name is Hallie and I'm so happy that you're here. For today's video, I was thinking it would be fun to just spend a cozy bookish day, or I guess few days, with you guys. I recently did like the little weekend reading in my life and like finishing books that I started when I was in a slump, and I really honestly enjoyed filming kind of like a mini reading vlog for you guys, because normally I'll film for like a week or beyond to read like anywhere between 3 to like 5 books in a single video. I don't know, I really enjoyed filming like just a little mini reading vlog, spend a few days with you guys, and I think I'm gonna start trying to incorporate those kind of in between my longer reading vlogs as well. I don't know, it was just so enjoyable just to spend a few days with you guys. So on the agenda today, I would like to go out and do some book shopping. I haven't gone out book shopping in the longest time because I have been restraining myself, but I just think it would be so fun to go out and do some book shopping. I know I'm looking for one book in particular, which I'll get to in a second, but I'm also going to go by some used bookstores like Half Price Books. I was considering checking at a Goodwill too, just to see if I can like find anything good there. So if I end up finding anything else good besides the one book that's on my list, I might go ahead and grab that as well. But I am just trying to be really intentional about the books that I am buying and adding to my physical TBR, because there are quite a few books that I bought when I very first was getting into reading that I feel like I didn't think about enough before I bought, and now they're sitting on my shelves and I'm not sure if I still want to read them, and I don't want that to happen with books that I'm currently buying. So I'm trying to be very thoughtful, very mindful over the books that I'm adding to my physical TBR. Yeah, I just thought that we could spend today together. We're gonna go out and go book shopping. I think I might go grab a little coffee because I literally never go out and buy coffees anymore, so it's like a huge treat whenever I actually decide to go out and get a coffee. But I was thinking I might go get some type of pumpkin coffee from somewhere. My mom and sister went around and tried like 5 different pumpkin coffees and have determined that they liked I think they like the Dunkin' one and the Starbucks ones the best, but I really only get like blended drinks from Starbucks, so I think I might go to Dunkin' and get like an iced pumpkin, some type of coffee. I don't know, but the vibes are here. The fall vibes are here, and I feel like what better way to bring on the fall season by going out and getting a pumpkin coffee, going out book shopping at Barnes and some used bookstores, and also reading a highly anticipated book. Some of you guys are gonna be so excited to hear me say this, but today is the day that I finally read Fearless by Lauren Roberts. The time has come. I'm so beyond ready to get into this book. When it very first came out, I literally downloaded it on my Kindle like the day that it released and had started the book, and I think I got like 2 or 3 chapters in and I was having the best time. But then I fell into my like what seems to be annual summer reading slump, and anytime that I would try to pick this book up, I either 1, just like didn't feel like I was in the mood for it, or 2, started getting really paranoid that I was going to end up ruining this reading experience for myself by reading it while I was in a slump. So then I just started putting it off because I just wanted to wait until the time was right. But I can say with 100% certainty that today is the day. The time is now. The time is right. So in this reading vlog, we're going to be reading Fearless by Lauren Roberts. I'm not sure if I'll finish it in this reading vlog because this is the longest book in the series, and I really want these little mini reading vlogs to be just like very casual hangout vibes and not so much necessarily worrying about finishing books. Just like, you know, we'll read it, talk about how I feel, and see how far we get. So that is kind of the agenda for today. Obviously, I have just finished getting ready and we are about to head out to get a coffee and go to some bookstores. While we are out and about, I think I'm actually going to also be listening to another new release that I kind of missed while I was in a slump. I'm going to be listening to Sunrise on the Reaping. I was so excited for that one to come out too, and it's just so many of my highly anticipated releases came out during the summer when I was in my slump. It was so tragic, but I'm going to be listening to Sunrise on the Reaping while we're out and about today, whether it's in the car or while we're actually in the bookstore shopping. I'm so excited to get farther into that. I've already started the audiobook because I was able to get a copy through my library on the Hoopla app. So yeah, I'm going to be listening to that while we're out and about, and while we're out and about to listen to my audiobooks, I'm actually going to be using the Raycon Everyday Classic earbuds. So thank you so much to Raycon for sponsoring this portion of today's video. So I've never really been like an earbuds girly because I have a really small like ear holes, I guess. So I really struggled to find find a pair of earbuds that fit comfortably in my specific ear size. But one of my favorite parts about these earbuds specifically is their super comfortable ergonomic design. Whenever I got these in the mail and saw that it came with an assortment of so many different sized earbud pieces, I was so excited because you can really customize these to fit whatever specific ear size and shape you need. These are all the sizes that the earbuds come with. Obviously, I have the smallest size option on mine currently, and they fit me so perfectly. I've genuinely never had an earbud fit in my ear so perfectly without like hurting my ear because they're too big. They just fit in my ear so nicely. And not only that, but as an ADHD girly, I am constantly struggling with keeping my devices fully charged. And with these earbuds, if they do die, you can plug them in for only 10 minutes and get 90 minutes of playtime just from that 10 minutes of charging, which is like a game changer for me if I'm like in a pinch and need to charge them real quick. And if you use the case, you can get up to 32 hours of battery life, which is crazy. These earbuds have active noise cancellation and awareness mode. Both of those things definitely are must-haves for me, especially as a mom, because sometimes I like need to tune the noise out, but there are other times where I really want to be listening to something, but like I really need to be able to be aware of my surroundings and be able to hear what's going on, especially with the kids. I also really love the awareness mode for when I'm like out and about, because I love being able to still be aware of my surroundings and hear what's going on around me while enjoying whatever it is that I'm listening to. These also have been such a game changer for me with audiobooks specifically, and being able to listen to audiobooks while I get ready in the mornings, because I personally don't like listening to my audiobooks just like from my phone speakers. There have been so many times that I've been wanting to listen to an audiobook while doing my makeup, but I just wasn't able to because I didn't have a way to listen to the audiobook without it being in the way. But these fit so seamlessly in my ear that I'm able to do my hair, my makeup, all while listening to audiobooks because they're not in the way at all. I literally used these this morning while I was getting ready to listen to an audiobook while doing my hair and makeup. So that alone has been so nice for me. Raycon's quality rivals premium audio brands, but at half the price. So with Raycon, no more overpaying just to get great sound. And they come with a 30-day happiness guarantee. So if you don't love them, returns are super easy. I obviously have the rose gold option. I love this colorway. I feel like it looks so cute. And I just love how sleek and compact this case is because it makes bringing them with me wherever I go super effortless. So if you're also in need of some everyday noise canceling earbuds, I would highly recommend checking Raycon out. I have loved using these and I genuinely think that you would too. If you are interested in trying out Raycon's Everyday Earbuds Classics, you can click the link in my description box or visit buyraycon.com to get 20% off site-wide. Again, that is buyraycon.com to get 20% off site-wide. I highly recommend checking them out. I have loved my earbuds so far, and thank you so much to Raycon for sponsoring this portion of today's video. Okay, so first things first, coffee, bookstore, reading. I'm so excited. Let's go book shopping. all you wanted to say? Okay, hello. We have made it back from our little outing. Obviously, as you guys saw, I went to Barnes & Noble's first to look for Fearful. But whenever I got there, they only had the like Barnes & Noble special edition version, and I didn't want that one because the rest of my Powerless books are all like black. So then I was like, okay, like I will just look somewhere else for that one. And then I went to look for Wild Reverence because that's another book that I have read recently. That is a new release that is a 6-star. If you've been watching, you know that I'm genuinely like obsessed with that book. It's my favorite Rebecca Ross book to date. Honestly, one of my favorite fantasies that I've read. It just holds such a special place in my heart, and you'll see why I wanted the specific edition that I wanted in a second. But they only had the Barnes & Noble special edition version for that one as well. I wanted the regular version because the Barnes & Noble edition had like teal sprayed edges. I liked the version with the plain black sprayed edges so much better, and that was just like the regular first print edition. So after I left Barnes & Noble, I ended up not getting anything at Barnes. I ended up going to Half Price Books, and at Half Price Books I found the regular edition of Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross. So here's the thing. I am about to be so ridiculously extra with this book, and I just have to say that up front. I am aware that it's so extra, but this is a 6-star book for me, and eventually whenever I have a house, I want to have copies of my favorite books in like my library area, but then also I want to have them kind of like strewn about my house as well. So I don't necessarily mind having multiple editions of books that are like 5 or 6-star reads for me because I want them everywhere. In every room that I go, I want them in my bedroom, I want them in my library room, I want them in my living room. So that's kind of my headspace going into this, so just be aware of that. But anyway, I really wanted this edition specifically because the first print edition of Wild Reverence is just so beautiful. So I don't necessarily love the dust jacket design, like it's okay, you know, but what I do love, the hardcover. It is beautiful. It's everything I could have ever wanted. It carries all the way around. Like, this is exactly what I was seeing in my mind when I was reading this book. It's actually insane, and I just think it looks so much better with the black sprayed edges than the teal. Like, yeah, I guess the teal would go with like the blue sky, I guess, but I don't know. I feel like this is exactly what I envisioned while I was reading the book. So that is why I wanted this edition specifically. I honestly will probably keep it on my shelf at least for a while, just the naked hardcover itself, because this is just so beautiful. I genuinely, like, I want to reread this right now. This is stunning, okay? But the reason that I was saying that I'm about to be so extra with it is because the rest of my Rebecca Ross books are all the UK versions. I have A River Enchanted and A Fire Endless, both the UK version. I have Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. Those are both the UK editions. And then I have the Fairy Loot edition of Ruthless Vows, and then I did also get the Fairy Loot edition for Wild Reverence, right? Is that Fairy Loot? I'm pretty sure it's Fairy Loot and not Owl Crate. I'll put it on screen. That's why I'm saying I'm being so extra, because I think I am gonna order the UK version of Wild Reverence so that it can match the rest of my UK like regular editions of the rest of her books. And then I'll have this like just beautiful special hardcover edition, I guess. But then I also have the fairy, so I'm gonna have 3 copies of this book, and I just, no one needs to say anything about it. I'm aware, okay? I'm aware, but this book genuinely altered my brain chemistry and lives within my soul every second of every day. So she's earned a spot on my shelf ×3 at this point. So that is the first book that we got. I'm genuinely so excited to put this on my shelves. I think I'm gonna do that literally as soon as we're done talking here. But yeah, that is the first book that I found. I'm so glad that I was able to find it at Half Price Books. I really have been trying to shop more so at like actual book stores or like book retailers, I guess, because I used to get a lot of books from like Target and Walmart. So I've just been trying to, if I can, like look at actual bookstores first, and then if I can't find it anywhere else, then I'll look like on Walmart or on Amazon or something like that. But instead of those being my go-to, I'm trying to like rewire my brain to like check the bookstores first. So glad that I was able to find this at Half Price Books, even though they didn't have it at Barnes & Noble. So then I was looking for Fearless by Lauren Roberts, which they also had, which is so exciting. I love that this edition is pink because right now all of my other books in the Powerless trilogy, like my Powerless edition is like the Barnes & Noble like hot pink one, and then my Reckless edition is the red one, and then my Fearless edition is this like light pink one. So I love that they're like all shades of pink. The only one that bothers me is Powerful, because because it's like this blue version. I do have like the original powerful tiny little novella. My friend has it right now actually, so that's why it hasn't been on my shelves in a long time. That one's red, so I don't know if I'll end up just keeping that one and then getting rid of this one, because I really don't like how this is the only like blue shaded one in mine, at least. Like Powerless originally was purple, so like the blue and purple go together better, but for mine it's like pink, red, pink, and then obviously this novella is pink as well, so I don't know. But anyway, I'm so excited to have this. Honestly, I don't know what is in store for me in Fearless, but just in case it ends, I don't know how it's gonna end. I'm so nervous about it. I really haven't seen very much about it online, because anytime that I would hear anyone talking about it, I would like run the opposite way and try and avoid it at all costs, because I don't want to know a singular thing about that book. So it's kind of nice to know that no matter how it goes, I will have at least a little bit more left in this world to read, even though this is following completely separate characters from like the main plot. It's nice to know that I'll have like a little bit left before it's like completely over. So I got Fearful. Lastly, I actually picked up a copy of My Year of Rest and Relaxation. This is a book that has always really intrigued me, and I always told myself that if I found a copy at Half Price Books that I would go ahead and pick it up because of how long it has sounded interesting to me. So this is the first time that I've seen it at my Half Price Books, at least, so I just went ahead and grabbed this. I honestly don't even really remember what this premise is about. Which sounds bad, but I remember whenever I would hear people talk about it that it sounded very like thought-provoking almost, and I'm pretty sure it kind of depicts this girl like going through a depression or something. It says, the shocking and strangely tender story of a young woman's efforts to duck the ills of the world with the help of one of the worst psychiatrists in the annals of literature. That is not that word. A-N-N-A-L-S, annals. Don't make fun of me for saying annals of literature. Anyway, the synopsis of this one says, our narrator should be happy, shouldn't she? She's young, thin, pretty, a recent Columbia graduate, works an easy job at a hip art gallery, lives in an apartment in the Upper East Side of Manhattan, paid for, like the rest of her needs, by her inheritance. But there is a hole in her heart, and it isn't just the loss of her parents, or the way her Wall Street boyfriend treats her, or her sadomasochistic relationship with her best friend, Reva. It's the year 2000 in a city aglitter with wealth and possibility. What could be so terribly wrong? So I don't know. Very interested to see my thoughts. I feel like the reviews for this are pretty split. Like you either absolutely love it or you like genuinely hate it and think it's terrible. So very interested to see what side of the stick I end up falling on. Is that even a saying? I don't know. But anyway, those are the 3 books that I picked up today. I'm literally so excited about these. A little bit of some book updates real quick. How far am I into Sunrise on the Reaping? I'm currently on chapter 12 in Sunrise on the Reaping. It says I'm 42% through the book. I did quite a bit of driving today, and I also was already like 20% through the book whenever I left to go out shopping today. This is so good. I feel like I really enjoyed The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes with like getting to know the backstory of President Snow, but I do think that I am enjoying Haymitch's story a little bit more because I can like actually fully root for his character. Like The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes was so conflicting because the story was so good, but it was like you knew what happens in the future with President Snow, and it's like I literally cannot root for you. I literally like don't want to feel sympathy for you. You know what I'm saying? Like all of those conflicting emotions, and it's like you see at the end like that was good in that way, but in this book it's more so like it's so tragic because I feel like there are so many little parallels already that have been drawn to like Katniss's experience in the first Hunger Games book and like kind of her point of view on things, and I'm like as I'm listening feeling so many of those parallels or so many of those similarities I guess between like her thought process with things or the way that things kind of played out, and it's really interesting because it makes me think back to like some of the scenes that Haymitch is in those books, and I want to know what he was thinking in those moments, if that makes sense. It's also really interesting to see President Snow's character in this book now that I read The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, because I feel like it's just like seeing his character from a whole different perspective I guess, or from a different viewpoint, because whenever I originally read the Hunger Games trilogy as a teenager, like obviously you only know President Snow as like the current President Snow and you don't know any of his backstory, but now I like know his full backstory and I like have seen through his eyes and like seen through his perspective his own story, and so now whenever he pops up in the book I genuinely feel like I'm seeing his character in a different light. Not that I like necessarily like his character more, but I do feel like I can almost like see what he's thinking or like understand his thought process a little more because I have been in the lens of his character, if that makes sense. So that's something that I have noticed that has been really different about the scenes where President Snow pops up in Sunrise on the Reaping, having that whole kind of backstory and like having gotten to know his character a little bit more. And it does make me very, very interested in rereading the Hunger Games trilogy after reading both The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes and Sunrise on the Reaping, because I feel like I would be reading it with a completely different perspective, having more history that I did not have the first few times that I read it as a teenager. So I feel like that has been really, really good, and I honestly wasn't expecting to ever see his character in a different light, and it makes me really excited to get to the Hunger Games, like I said, because I feel like the same thing would happen with Haymitch's character, where like knowing his backstory, like what different things would I pull out of some of the subtle things that maybe Haymitch did in the Hunger Games trilogy that just flew over my head because I wasn't reading into it that deep because I didn't have that history. But now I feel like once I've unlocked more information, I bet there are going to be so many things in the Hunger Games trilogy where you just like never would have noticed it before without having like these key pieces of information or history that you're like unlocking by reading like the prequel stuff. So yeah, really, really enjoying that so far. I do think I'm enjoying it a little bit more than The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, but again, I think that's just because I have always loved Haymitch's character. I remember even as a teenager like longing and wishing for the story of his Hunger Games and getting to know like just his whole story. So whenever it was announced and I'm like an adult, I'm like, this is like my childhood dreams coming true. It's so exciting. I genuinely never expected to get a book from his perspective. I just thought it was always going to be one of those things where you're like, oh, I wish I could get his story, but like it actually happened, which is kind of crazy, but so exciting. So those are kind of my thoughts right now about just under halfway through Sunrise on the Reaping. I'm really, really enjoying it so far. And then as far as Fearless goes, I am on chapter 6. I honestly didn't end up reading too much while I was waiting to get the kids from school, but what I did read is just I texted my sister, all caps, I'm barking because one thing about me, at the end of the day, I am simply a simp for Kai. I am such a simp for Kai. I love this man with all of my heart and soul. Everything that he says makes me blush and giggle and have butterflies and kick my feet, and I'm just like genuinely in love with this man. It's the way that he literally just like talks so poetically. There was one scene, hold on, let me find it because I don't want to say it because obviously it would be a huge spoiler, but I'll say what page it's on so that you can go and read it because I read it and this is what I sent a picture of to my sister and said, I'm genuinely barking. Oh my god, I just found it. Okay, page 62, about halfway through the page. 4 words, he said, that had me, oh my god, I'm having a great time. A devastating time, might I add. Such a devastating time to the point where I'm kind of like having to disassociate from my feelings just in case things go the worst way, because I cannot handle a heartbreak to this extent if things don't play out the way that I need them to play out. So that's where I'm at emotionally with this one. I know I can't handle it, so I'm distancing myself in preparation so I can't fully feel the pain in case it happens. There's not much else I can really say right now about this because anything else I would have to say would be really spoilery. What I will say is I do like how the book has been set up so far, especially given the ending of the last book. I feel like it's setting up nicely to take us somewhere. I don't know, honestly, where we're gonna go in this book. I have genuinely zero guesses as to where we're gonna go or how we're going to get out of the situation that we're currently in. So I'm a little bit nervous about that, but I am having a good time so far. Honestly, any time that I spend with Kai is a great time. So that's where I'm at. Right now, I'm about to listen to the audiobook for The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes a little bit longer because my mom is about to come back into town from Oklahoma after being gone for like a month. So I just want to do like a quick cleanup of the house to make sure that everything is like literally spotless whenever she gets back. I think I have about an hour and a half or 2 hours before she'll be coming home. So my kids are in the living room playing tag. So they're going a little bit crazy. But yeah, I'm gonna listen to the audiobook for a little bit while I clean up, and then afterwards I have no other plans for tonight except to cozy up and get farther into Fearless. I need to know what's gonna happen and how this ends. Most importantly, I need to know how it ends, and I need it to not end me. So let's get on to some cleaning and then cozy nighttime reading, my actual favorite thing to do ever. Good morning, you guys. I had the most cozy night of reading last night. Honestly, I got way more reading done than I was anticipating to. I made it all the way to chapter 25. That's page 209. So I was just flying through this last night. I am just enjoying being back in this world so much. I'm loving where the plot has taken us. I feel like I was not expecting at all to be like where we are in the plot where we're at, but I do think that it's really, really interesting. And I'm just so interested to see like where the plot goes, and again, like how are we going to get out of the predicament that we're currently in, because I literally cannot see a way out of the situation that we're in. I'm just so curious to see like how are we going to get ourselves out of the situation, if we even do. Please, I beg. But yeah, it's so good so far. It's everything that I wanted as far as like tension and yearning and romance goes, and more, honestly, so far. But that's because I feel fully fed off of crumbs at this point, because I love Peyton and Kai so much. So like anything that happens, I'm like eating a 4-course meal. So anyway, I'm really, really enjoying this so far. I haven't really made any other progress on Sunrise on the Reaping since I listened to it. I didn't end up listening to it this morning when I took the kids to school, because the cord that I normally use to listen to it like through my car speakers does not work anymore. So I need to go and pick up a new one this morning so that I can continue to listen to audiobooks while I drive as well. But reading these 2 books really has me excited to also pick up some other new releases that I missed while I was in my tragic little reading slump. So I think I am going to start a reading vlog of reading new releases that I missed while I was in a reading slump. So if you guys are interested in seeing me finish this book, Sunrise on the Reaping, and some other highly anticipated new releases that I missed, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss those videos coming up soon. It will probably take like 2 or 3 episodes, because I think I have like between 6 to 8 new releases that I was highly anticipating that I missed while I was in my slump. So I think it would be so much fun to go through and get to read all of my highly anticipated new releases back to back. I think that that would be a fun little video to do with you guys as well. So get excited for that, because I think that that is probably one of the next reading vlogs that I will start, because obviously I need to finish this book. Like I need answers. I need to know what's going on. There's no way I'm going to stop reading this book right now. But this is where I'm going to end today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this little mini reading vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed spending a few little days with me and going book shopping. Just a cozy little mini fall vlog. So thank you so much for watching. That's all I have for today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!